This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Good Monday morning, and thank you so much for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak at 4:30. I'm Brian Mays. Let's begin today with a look at what we are tracking after a wonderful weekend. What does this week have in store? Erica Lopez has the detail.
Hey there, Brian. Well, this week not as gorgeous as this weekend. We were quite spoiled this weekend. Lots of sunshine. That's going to change this week. We're talking increase in cloud coverage, increase in humidity also. As of now, our dew points are in the 60s. Temperatures are in the 50s and 60s. Also, KVUE currently at 67. So not as cool tonight because of the moisture content and the cloud coverage that's coming into play across our viewing area. Notice we're in the at least lower 60s for the majority of us. Light southeast wind is what we're currently experiencing, 5 miles an hour in Austin. Not a breezy day in store. That's also going to help things get a little bit more sticky as we progress through this afternoon. Here's a look at just how much warmer we are compared to yesterday. Kind of a warm-up, anywhere from 1 to about 8 degrees in Fredericksburg this morning. So the moral of the story for this week, cloud coverage, and we're talking rain shower chances for the next couple of days. I'll break those details down a little bit more in depth in the full forecast. Brian, back to you.
Erica, looking forward to it. Thank you. Happening today, opponents of Senate Bill 4 expected to protest here in Austin. This comes after Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed the Sanctuary Cities bill on Facebook Live last night. The bill requires law enforcement to comply with federal requests to hold criminal suspects for possible deportation. Coming up in our next half hour, KVUE's Jay Wallace joins us live with the latest on Senate Bill 4 and how it will impact Austin. House Republicans facing backlash this morning over the new health care bill that has Americans all across the country worried about losing their coverage. Angry voters filling town halls to voice their concerns on potential higher costs for older Americans and for Medicaid cuts. ABC's Janae Norman explains how President Donald Trump is responding to the outrage while the bill makes its way to the Senate.
It wasn't exactly a warm welcome home.
You're a fraud, you're a phony, and your days are limited.
Some Republicans on the defense following their yes votes to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, forced to explain why they supported the measure that rolls back key protections of Obamacare.
The bill protects the pre-existing condition.
One of the biggest issues, pre-existing conditions.
Under this bill, no matter what, you cannot be denied coverage if you have a pre-existing condition. Under this bill, you cannot only not be denied coverage, you can't be charged higher. Let me finish my point. You can't charge people more if they keep continuous coverage.
While some Republicans are sticking to their talking points, others are breaking ranks.
It's true that under the House bill that a state that gets a waiver would still have to provide coverage to people with pre-existing conditions, but that coverage might well be unaffordable.
And now the namesake of the health care bill at the center of the debate is speaking out. President Obama calling on Congress to protect his signature bill that extended health care coverage to 20 million Americans.
I hope that current members of Congress recall that it actually doesn't take a lot of courage to aid those who are already powerful, but it does require some courage to champion the vulnerable and the sick and the infirm.
The Congressional Budget Office is expected to release its score of the GOP health care bill this week. The original score from March estimated 24 million Americans will lose their health care coverage over the next decade. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
The Austin Police Department is investigating an officer-involved shooting that left one person dead over the weekend. Happened out on 6th Street around 2:30 Sunday morning. The video posted to YouTube captured the exact moment. A shot was fired into the air after a group of people began arguing. Austin police used public safety cameras to get a description of the shooter. 2 patrol officers spotted a man they believed to be behind the shooting. Officials say that's when he led them on a chase and shot at the officers, leading to this next video. The officers returned fire as the crowds watched. The man pronounced dead after getting taken to the hospital. APD officials investigating the shooting say so far the evidence supports the officer's story. The officers are on administrative leave. APD has not released their names yet, but we do know that one has served 18 years on the police force, the other 7 years. Officials asking anyone with any information to please come forward. This morning, a Round Rock man facing murder charges for his father's death. Authorities arrested 23-year-old Tabias Saul after his father's body was found next to a car in northeast Travis County Sunday morning. Travis County Sheriff's deputies got calls of a car stopped off the road between Manor and Pflugerville. The car was in a field partially covered by mesquite trees and behind barbed wire. When deputies arrived, they found a man in his 40s who had been shot. He was pronounced dead at the scene just after 3:30 a.m. Sauls was taken into custody after he was brought in for questioning. Police need your help finding 3 people who fled the scene of a car crash in Manor over the weekend. Happened yesterday morning just before 4 a.m. on 290 near Texas State Highway 130. Police say 2 cars smashed into each other, causing one of the cars to roll over. Medics took 8 people to the hospital. Police used a helicopter to look for other people involved in the crash, but couldn't find them. If you have any information, you're encouraged to call police. Voters hit the polls across Central Texas over the weekend. The most controversial item for taxpayers in Round Rock was the ISD's multi-million-dollar bond. Voters decided against all 3 propositions, meaning no new schools, expansions, or improvements for now. Round Rock City Council member and Mayor Pro Tem Craig Morgan won the race for mayor in Round Rock. Morgan took home 52% of the vote, beating Hilda Montgomery and Cedar Ridge High School student Josh Couture. Georgetown voted to re-elect Mayor Dale Ross. He beat Dr. Sherwin Kahn by over 2,000 votes. In Hays County, the 3 big propositions all passed. The San Marcos ISD will get over $107 million for their schools. The public library will also receive almost $15 million. And finally, just under $17.5 million will go to police and fire facilities there in San Marcos. If you missed anything, you can find complete election results and all the races on our website, KVUE.com. Just log on to KVUE.com/elections to find that information. Back here in Texas, the state could soon allow adoption agencies to refuse service to couples based on their sexual orientation or religion. This week, lawmakers could take up the proposed bill at the House after rescheduling the debate Saturday. Supporters say the bill is about religious freedom for adoption agencies and foster care providers. However, opponents say it keeps children from moving into stable homes and families while funding discrimination with taxpayer dollars. This proposal just one of 24 pending bills in the legislature that LGBTQ advocates say encourage discrimination. 5 other states have passed similar laws protecting faith-based adoption organizations, but Texas's rule would extend to other state-funded agencies. Big news overseas this morning after a closely watched election. France now has a new president. Emmanuel Macron beat out his opponent with nearly 65% of the vote. He was running against a right-wing populist, Marine Le Pen, who threatened to curb immigration, pull France out of the European Union, and end the euro. ABC's Molly Hunter shows us how families are celebrating the victory for one of France's youngest leaders.
Victory for Europe, for the globalists, and for Emmanuel Macron. At just 39 years old, he's France's youngest leader since Napoleon. The result, 66% to Macron and 34% to his opponent, Marine Le Pen. His victory, a resounding rejection of her far-right nationalist agenda.
Je défendrai la France.
He's offering up something to believe in. He says he'll defend freedom and the oppressed. She's anti-European Union, anti-immigration, and anti-Islam. Walking into the song Ode to Joy, the anthem of the European Union, he's pro-EU, pro-immigration, and more tolerant.
Merci à vous.
People of France, he says, we will not give in to fear or division. Their battle drew in 2 American presidents, Barack Obama endorsing Macron.
I am supporting Emmanuel Macron to lead you forward.
And President Trump calling Le Pen strongest on borders and strongest on what's been going on in France. But Sunday night, the president tweeting, "Congratulations. I look very much forward to working with him."
And for Macron, the real work now begins, unifying a divided France. His first call was to fellow European leader, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, a deliberate and symbolic choice as France recommits to the EU. Here in the UK, Prime Minister Theresa May congratulating Macron as she, of course, prepares to lead her country out of the EU after that Brexit vote. Molly Hunter, ABC News, London.
Texas lawmakers trying to encourage more women to use health care services offered through state-run programs rather than Planned Parenthood. There are 36 billboards across the state promoting healthytexaswomen.org. The program aims to provide reproductive health and family planning services for low-income women. According to the Texas Tribune, the program is available for low-income women ages 18 to 44, offering services like pregnancy and STD testing as well as breast and cervical cancer screenings. Does not offer abortions. 4:40, time now to get a check on the forecast once again with Erica Lopez. Erica.
Hey there. Good morning, Brian. Happy Monday to you guys. This week is going to be a change from last week. We're talking clouds in the forecast, some rain in the forecast, and also the humidity is back. Starting right now, clouds and humid conditions is what you can expect as you head out the door. Temperatures in the 60s. That's the case for pretty much the entire Lone Star State. In the 70s for southern Texas and western Texas. This area of high pressure that's just to the south of east of us is bringing in the humid conditions from the Gulf of Mexico. So current dew points in the 60s, upper 50s. It's already pretty sticky out there. That's just slowly going to increase throughout the work week. And we're talking rain shower chances by about starting tomorrow, as a matter of fact. The next 12 hours, it's going to be cloudy out there. Don't expect much sunshine, but at least that will keep our temperatures under 90 degrees. We should top out in the lower 80s this afternoon, so a couple degrees under average. But again, keep in mind the humidity will make it feel like we're in the mid to upper 80s this afternoon. Brian, back to you.
Erica, thanks. How about this story? A brave young girl in Florida being praised for putting up a fight against an alligator in an attack. Take a look. The 8-foot gator that attacked her on Saturday in the back of the truck there. It happened while she and her family were at a lake in Orlando. Officials say the gator clamped down on the 10-year-old's left knee, but she didn't back down. She escaped using survival techniques she learned at an alligator park. She punched the gator in the nose, put her fingers in its nostrils, and pulled down on the gator's bottom jaw, which freed her leg, and she got away. She is doing okay this morning and is back home with her family. What a brave young girl. Still ahead, women in the Austin area being targeted while getting exercise. What you need to know this morning before heading out for your morning jog. And attacked at the ATM, a gun pulled on a mom while she was withdrawing cash. What police want you to know before heading to the ATM alone.